Welcome to the DPS Endless Wave Proving Grounds Guide. This guide is created for a WindWalker Monk and is part 4 of the series. This part is an ongoing narrative of the last 10 waves of the event. Wave 1 starts with the character facing towards the back of the room. Use paralysis on the Amber Weaver in the back. Then use Storm, Earth, and Fire on the other 2 Amber Weavers, all the while DPSing the bunnies in the middle. When the bunnies go down, you want to start DPSing the Amber Weaver that was CC'd. In this particular event, for this particular wave, I went to the wrong guy and started DPSing one of the ones that had an SCF on it, or Storm, Earth, Fire on it. It worked, and this is wave 21, and even though I kind of screwed up a little bit, it's still working out well. This wave is a good example of the monk's ability to roll through those amber globules and not get stunned with it. Once they do roll through it, it will basically blow up afterwards. In wave 2, you'll be facing towards the front, standing where the Mystic will spawn. Put Storm, Earth, and Fire on the 2 Mogos and DPS the Mystic. They have a healing ability which should be interrupted. Around 55 seconds on the timer, I used the Wound Ripper trinket and then followed up with the Flashing Steel trinket. About the time that the Mystic dies, there'll be a spawn of a Banshee. You have to pick these up really quick. They have a timer, and if the timer expires, the event's over. Once the Banshee is down, finish off the Amber Weaver, and that's it for this particular wave. Wave 1 and 2 are pretty forgiving waves, and if you're going to make some mistakes, which I did 1 or 2 in these 2 waves, this is the place to do it.
4, 3, 2.
The start of wave 3 is really hectic. The opening rotation goes like this. As soon as the bunnies appear, use Leg Sweep, Tiger Eye Brew, cast the G91 Land Shark, and use Storm, Earth, and Fire on one of the monkeys. You will DPS the second monkey. It can be really tough to target the monkeys, and it's not uncommon to target one of the bunnies instead. Once you get the monkeys down, work on the bunnies themselves using Spinning Crane Kick. I use a lot of cooldowns on this one because I have a lot of trouble with the Spinning Crane Kick ability to get all the bunnies down in time. The Rushing Jade Wind talent does a nicer job on this part, but you really need the White Tiger for the burst DPS on the later waves. So I'm just stuck with the Spinning Crane Kick. Wave 4 is moderate in difficulty. Stand behind where a Mogu will spawn and then put Storm, Earth, Fire on 2 nearby Mogu. Then DPS the Mogu that you're standing next to. After the 2 Mogu are down, then you can work on the remaining Mogu. Around 30 seconds, there'll be a spawn of a Banshee that needs to be prioritized on your killing order. As soon as your Storm, Earth, and Fire ability goes down, you want to be renewing that. You hear it dropped off. Here I got one back up. That way you maintain damage at the same time going on more than one NPC. In wave 4, there's a Berserking buff that spawns on the floor there next to the Mogu. You want to be careful not to run over that accidentally, because you're going to be needing that in wave 10 later on. In wave 5, you get a small shot. Start with putting Storm, Earth, Fire on the monkey and then DPS the Mystic. You're going to have to keep moving in a circle to avoid the bananas. If you get hit with a banana, it's a 75% reduction of your hit statistic. Around 30 seconds, you're going to get a spawn of a Banshee. You need to DPS that one down. And here's the Banshee now. For the first 40 seconds of this wave, the Shaw has a shield up that keeps you from doing any major damage. You're just building up charges of Tiger Eye Brew. At the 20-second mark, the shield comes down, and you can use your cooldowns to try to bring them down. I'm not sure about the facing requirements on this event, but I usually stand with my back to the boss. The boss faces the door. Wave 6 is a relatively simple event. You want to put Storm, Earth, Fire on one of the mystics, and then DPS a second mystic. And you want to interrupt their healing, but they do take a while to go down, and you want to get them down as quickly as possible so you have time to finish off the bunnies in the last half of the event. One thing to think about if you're running behind a little bit is to use cooldowns once you're working on the bunnies, like Tiger Eye Brew. At this stage of the event, I didn't have a lot of Tiger Eye Brew to use, but it looked like the bunnies are going down pretty quick. So I didn't use my trinkets on this one. In the upcoming Wave 7, what I did was put Storm Earth Fire on the monkey, put Storm Earth Fire on the Amber Weaver next to him, and then DPS the Amber Weaver in the back. After looking at this, I thought maybe a better strategy would be to put the Storm Earth Fire on the monkey, DPS the Amber Weaver that's next to the monkey, and then put Storm Earth Fire on the Mogu in the middle. Now, the strategy that I did worked, but if you do the alternate strategy, then what's going to happen is that the Amber Weaver in the back is going to throw globules at you, and it's going to hit the middle Mogu. And so if you have Storm Earth Fire on the middle Mogu, then you get a damage boost there. In part 1 of this video, I discussed at length the impact of the Amber globules. But when a character is encased in Amber, they take 50% more damage. The strategy for Wave 8 is pretty straightforward. I try to stand where I can mouse over the Slayers and put Storm Earth Fire on those, and then DPS the Mystic in the middle. This event has a lot of Banshees. You'll get one around 40 seconds. There's one now. And they have to be DPS right away because they have a separate timer. So in this event, you not only have the wave timer of 60 seconds, you have the Banshee timers going off. About the time that both Slayers go down, there's more Banshees coming up, and what they do is they throw in the second Banshee spawn while the first one is still up. On this wave, I use the Touch of Death ability on the final Banshee. What that does for me is it gets the Banshee down so I can keep DPS on the Mystic. The thing I don't want is to have the Mystic healing itself while I'm spending time on the Banshee. This is Wave 9. When I originally did Wave 29, I wasn't really happy with the rotation. And during the production of this guide, I came across a strategy that seemed to work really well. And that's why I'm replacing it with a Wave 9 that you see here rather than the actual Wave 29. In the guide itself, I think I've got the original Wave 29. Now, what I'm doing here is using Storm Earth Fire on the Mogu, then Storm Earth Fire on the Amber Weaver. Then I would chase around the monkey and beat him down. Then by the time that all three of those characters are down, you're left with the two Slayers, and then of course the Banshee's going to come up in the middle. But this is really pretty clean and elegant. With this strategy, I seem to have a lot more time on the clock at the end of the wave. Here we are, Wave 10, final boss. The strategy for this can't be any simpler. You just stand behind the boss and DPS and use your cooldowns. I start the event with the first Berserker cooldown. That's where I was standing. Run through that. You're going to use the other Berserker cooldown at 30 seconds. During the first 40 seconds of the fight, the boss has a shield up. So basically what you're doing is doing a little bit of damage, but more importantly, building up charges of Tiger Eye Brew. I use the White Tiger ability at 45 seconds, and since its duration is 45 seconds, he'll be there for the whole fight and get some damage in during the shield phase. At 20 seconds, you want to use your Tiger Eye Brew, you want to use your trinkets, you want to renew your Tiger Eye Brew. Pay attention to the timer on the Tiger Eye Brew because it's 15 seconds, you have a 20-second period to use it.